lecture. Today we will discuss the glyoxylate cycle, glucogenesis, alpha oxidation and omega oxidation. Let's start. In animal cells, beta oxidation predominantly takes place within the mitochondria, where fatty acids are broken down into acetyl-CoA molecules which subsequently enter the citric acid cycle, also known as the tricarboxylic acid cycle, for further metabolism. However, during the germination of IL seeds, a distinctive metabolic pathway occurs in specialized organelles called glyoxysome. In these glyoxysome, beta oxidation occurs, yielding acetyl-CoA as a primary product. This acetyl-CoA serves as a crucial metabolic precursor, playing a pivotal role in supplying the necessary building blocks required for the initiation of seed germination and subsequent seedling growth. Notably, beyond its role in lipid metabolism, acetyl-CoA acts as a precursor for sugar biosynthesis, a vital process during seedling development. The conversion of acetyl-CoA to sugars involves an intricate interplay of metabolic pathways, including the glyoxylate cycle, TCA cycle, and gluconeogenesis. These pathways operate across different cellular compartments, with the glyoxysome harboring key enzyme specific to the glyoxylate cycle, such as isocitrate lyase and malate synthase. These enzymes play essential roles in catalyzing reactions within the glyoxysome, facilitating the conversion of acetyl-CoA into sugars, which are essential for sustaining the energy needs and growth demands during the critical phase of seed germination and early seedling establishment. Thus, the unique localization of beta oxidation in glyoxysomes and subsequent utilization of acetyl-CoA underscore the specialized metabolic adaptations that support the energy and biosynthetic requirements crucial for the developmental transition observed during seedling emergence and growth in plants. In animal cells, beta oxidation isocitrate lyase facilitate the breakdown of isocitrate into succinate, a 4-carbon dicarboxylic acid, and glyoxylate, a 2-carbon compound within glyoxysome. Succinate is transported out of glyoxysome and enters the mitochondria, where it undergoes conversion to oxaloacetate as part of the tricarboxylic acid cycle. Oxaloacetate is then exported from the mitochondria to the cytosol, where it is converted into phosphoenol pyruvate by the enzyme phosphoenol pyruvate carboxykinase. The synthesis of sugars from PEP occurs through gluconeogenesis. Another enzyme specific to glyoxysomes is malate synthase, which catalyzes the formation of malate from glyoxylate and acetyl-CoA. Two enzymes involved in the glyoxylate pathway, that is aconitase and malate dehydrogenase, are present in the cytosol. Aconitase catalyzes the synthesis of isocitrate from citrate, while MDH facilitates the dehydrogenation of malate. In the cytosol, MDH promotes the conversion of malate to oxaloacetate accompanied by the reduction of NAD to NADH. Within glyoxysome, oxaloacetate is transformed back into malate involving the oxidation of NADH. This oxidation of NADH is essential for maintaining the continuity of fatty acid oxidation. By direct entering the TCA cycle, the beta oxidation product, that is acetyl CoA, bypasses the need for the intermediate step known as the link reaction, resulting in the conversion of one carbon atom. So, in this slide we will discuss the glucogenesis. Oxaloacetate exported from the mitochondria is redirected towards sugar production within the cytosol. This conversion is facilitated by the enzyme phosphoenol pyruvate carboxykinase, which is catalyzing the irreversible transformation of oxaloacetate into phosphoenol pyruvate. This reaction consumes ATP and leads to the release of one carbon atom as carbon dioxide. Subsequently, PP generated through the action of PCK undergoes further modifications into sugars via the reverse reactions of the glycolytic pathway, a process known as gluconeogenesis. The coordination of gluconeogenesis and glycolysis within the cytosol necessitates a thorough understanding of the regulatory mechanism governing both pathways. It is noteworthy that during the conversion of oxaloacetate to sugars, only 3 out of the 4 carbon atoms from oxaloacetate are incorporated into the sugar molecules, with one carbon being lost as carbon dioxide during the PCK mediated reaction. As a result, only 75% of the carbon originally present in oxaloacetate contributes to sugar synthesis, resulting in a 25% loss of carbon. Within the glycolytic pathway, 10 reactions occur, with 7 being reversible and 3 being irreversible. Notably, the irreversible reactions involve the conversion of PEP to pyruvate, fructose 6-phosphate to fructose 1,6 bisphosphate, and glucose to glucose 6-phosphate, that is catalyzed by PEP kinase, phosphofructokinase, and hexokinase respectively. The step involving the conversion of pyruvate to phosphoenol pyruvate is circumvented due to the availability of PEP derived from oxaloacetate. The conversion of fructose 6-phosphate to fructose 1,6 bisphosphate represent a pivotal regulatory reaction dictating whether sugars will undergo glycolytic catabolism or gluconeogenic production. Within glycolysis, phosphofructokinase catalyzes this reaction. Conversely, in gluconeogenesis, fructose 1,6 bisphosphate catalyzes the same reaction, cleaving the phosphate group attached to carbon 1 of fructose 1,6 bisphosphate. Distinctive enzyme reaction govern the process of gluconeogenesis and glycolysis, dictating whether carbohydrates are synthesized or broken down within cellular cytosolic environment. The regulatory balance between fructose 1,6-bisphosphate and phosphofructokinase steers the pathway directionality. Both metabolic routes transpire within the cytosol. Fructose 2,6-bisphosphate serves as a pivotal modulator of fructose bisphosphatase activity. With its abundance, influence the synthesis of inhibition of sucrose. Intracellular FBP concentrations are intricately regulated by fructose 2,6-bisphosphate kinase and fructose 2,6-bisphosphatase. Enhanced level of fructose 6-phosphate and inorganic phosphate catalyzes FBP kinase, elevating FBP levels and favoring glycolysis. Conversely, the accumulation of triose phosphates and glycerate 3-phosphate augments FBPase activity, reducing FBP levels and promoting gluconeogenesis. Moreover, the gluconeogenic pathway circumvents the third irreversible step of glycolysis, involving the conversion of glucose to glucose 6 phosphate. Glucose 6 phosphate instead undergoes conversion to glucose 1 phosphate via phosphoglucomutase, serving as a precursor for sucrose synthesis. Ultimately, the newly synthesized sucrose is transported from the storage compartments of germinating seeds, such as the endosperm or cotyledons, to the developing regions of the seedlings. So, in this slide, we will discuss about the alpha oxidation of the fatty acids. Fatty acids typically exhibit an even number of carbon atoms owing to their biosynthesis, which involves the iterative addition of two carbon units. However, instances of fatty acids containing an odd number of carbon atoms are observed in both plant organisms and animal brain cells. This anomaly is attributed to a process termed alpha oxidation, which facilitates the conversion of fatty acid with an even number of carbons to those with an odd number. Alpha oxidation primarily targets fatty acids within the carbon 13 to carbon 18 range, involving the sequential elimination of the alpha carbon as carbon dioxide from the carboxylic end of the fatty acid molecule. Unlike the energy yielding beta oxidation process, alpha oxidation does not result in the release of energy, nor does it necessitate the involvement of CoA-SH intermediate. It is speculated that alpha oxidation plays a role in the degradation of long chain fatty acids. In human, this process occurs within peroxisomes and is notably implicated in the oxidation of dietary phytanic acid, a branch chain fatty acid sourced from a dairy product. Phytanic acid is incapable of undergoing beta oxidation due to its methyl branches, underscoring the importance of alpha oxidation in its metabolic processing. Here we have another oxidation of the fatty acid, that is the omega oxidation of the fatty acid. Certain fatty acids found in cutin and suberin, which are structural components of plant cell walls exhibit interactive features such as hydroxyl or carboxylic groups at the omega methyl terminal. These unique characteristics arise from a metabolic process known as a omega oxidation. Fatty acid processing carboxylic groups at both ends of their carbon chain are referred to as dicarboxylic acids, a hallmark of suberin. Omega oxidation relies on molecular oxygen and necessitates the involvement of cytochrome P450 enzymes. This oxidation process primarily occurs within the endoplasmic reticulum, where specialized enzymes catalyzes the transformation of fatty acids, leading to the formation of compounds crucial for the structural integrity of plant cell walls. Now let's move on to the catabolic pathways of unsaturated fatty acids. The degradation of unsaturated fatty acids holds significance across both animal and plant organisms due to their prevalence within triacylglycerols and phospholipids. Enzymatic reactions play a pivotal role in this process, distinct from those involved in saturated fatty acid metabolism. Typically, unsaturated fatty acids exhibit cis double bonds commonly located between the 9th and 10th carbon atom from the carboxylic end. However, enzymes engaged in beta oxidation, primarily adopted for saturated fatty acid, cannot act upon cis double bond present in unsaturated fatty acid. Thus, the breakdown of unsaturated fatty acid necessitates the conversion of cis double bond to trans configuration. For instance, oleic acid, a prevalent unsaturated fatty acid denoted as 18:1 delta 9, undergoes 3 cycles of beta oxidation, resulting in the generation of a 12 carbon fatty acid featuring a cis double bond at the 3rd carbon atom, that is 12:1 delta 3 cis. However, this cis delta 3 aryl CoA intermediate cannot be metabolized by aryl CoA hydratase, which exclusively recognizes trans double bond. To address this, delta 3 delta 2 aryl CoA isomerase intervenes, relocating the double bond from the 3rd to the 2nd position and converting its cis configuration to trans, yield 12:1 trans delta 2 aryl CoA. Following this conversion, aryl CoA hydratase catalyzes the formation of a hydroxyl intermediate termed I-beta hydroxyl CoA from trans delta 2 aryl CoA. This hydroxy intermediate serves as the substrate for another dehydrogenase reminiscent of beta oxidation, thereby initiating subsequent beta oxidation reactions. Progressing with our topic, we will now discuss the catabolism of fatty acids with odd number of the carbon atom. In plants, lipids contain fatty acid with odd numbers of carbon atom. These fatty acids undergoes oxidation and degradation processes until propionyl CoA and acetyl CoA are generated in the final cycle of beta oxidation, diverging from the typical production of two molecules of acetyl-CoA. Propionyl-CoA undergoes further catabolism through a series of enzymatic reactions involving propionyl-CoA carboxylase, methylmalonyl-CoA epimerase, and methylmalonyl-CoA mutase. The propionyl-CoA carboxylase catalyzed reactions is ATP dependent and requires biotin as a cofactor, yielding D-methylmalonyl-CoA. Subsequently, D-methylmalonyl-CoA is converted to its isomer, that is L-methylmalonyl-CoA, by methylmalonyl-CoA epimerase. Methylmalonyl-CoA mutase facilitates intramolecular rearrangements of L-methylmalonyl-CoA, resulting in the production of succinyl-CoA. Succinyl-CoA is then metabolized by the cell through various metabolic pathways. The complete oxidation of fatty acids containing an odd number of carbon atoms follows a process similar to that of fatty acids with an even number of carbon atoms through beta oxidation. However, in the last cycle of beta oxidation, instead of yielding two molecules of acetyl-CoA, it produces acetyl-CoA and propionyl-CoA. Propionyl-CoA undergoes catabolism via distinct pathway as illustrated in this figure. So, this is all about today's lecture. I hope now we will have a comprehensive understanding of lipid metabolism, its biochemical intricacies, and its vital role in cellular physiology. Thank you.